What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 140 of ValueTown. I'm ChanManV, and joining me, as always, is Alliestrasza and Jackie Chan. How are you guys doing?
Doing Hello. Well.
Very good.
Very good. Superb. Wow, I like these emotes today. These are great. We need to add those to the game. Oh, man. So I heard you guys got a chance to open some more packs recently, or at least get some more cards recently, huh? Are you guys doing some of that today, or?
Well, today we actually did something different. Rather than just getting packs based on whatever, the breakdown of the card back being equipped, it was actually extra time to do a speed run of the end of an adventure.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you could do. Okay, I didn't realize you guys had speed runs too.
So
cool.
Team Light got 46 minutes and Team Void got 54 minutes.
God, dude, you guys get shafted in every way. It's like ridiculous. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But well, go ahead, Jackie.
Yeah, I did Naxxramas. So I was doing a speed run Naxxramas, which was super intense. Like I felt so much pressure.
Me too. I was freaking out the whole time.
Oh my god, I need to get this card. But in Nax, but now I've got like Zombie Chows, Honey Creepers, Nerubian Eggs, Lotheb, Belcher. Right. Like I've got so many good stuff. So.
And Allie is just shaking her head the whole time. Well, we're going to, obviously they've had Oktoberbrawl going on now, so we'll talk about our week, obviously, in Hearthstone to start off with. Got lots of different things to talk about today. We've got some news, including interview with Mike Donais, as well as BlizzCon schedule being announced, so we'll take a look at that real quick. We've got another topic that's the topic of the week that has to do with some news involving Team Splyce. So I figured it might be good to talk about that a little bit. Mekkatorque's Workshop's back. Underrated and Jebaited, we got a card. And then we've got some results from the host challenge last week with the Royal Family. And we've got our new challenge this week for you guys. Lots of people are doing it, so it's definitely a lot of fun. And then Deck of the Week, of course. And then Q&A and Smilestone, too, guys. I forgot to mention that in there. We've got Smilestone again. So get ready for it. It's going to be like...
Best bit.
Yeah, that's right. Best 30 seconds of the show. At least some people think or have commented about. But let's talk about our week in Hearthstone. So Oktoberbrawl, kind of what you were talking about, kind of maybe extending that. I watched the grudge match between you guys this Friday. Man,
it was grim. It was so grim.
That Paladin deck is just too good, man.
I was really so bummed out because I thought when I was playing Paladin, I might have a shot to come back with that Blaze Caller into your Scalebane. I don't know how well you remember the match. But then your follow-up with 2 Muster for Battles and Direwolf, I just couldn't. There's nothing I could do.
That single Direwolf did so much work.
Direwolf did so much work.
I'm killing everything.
And I was top decking terribly, so no, they weren't the most interesting of matches.
One thing I realized with everybody's match is that if you fall behind, you're just dead because nobody has removal cards at all. It's just
nobody has removal.
All minions, all mechs, all tempo cards. That's it.
I had a no, never mind. That was just kidding.
If you had a volcano, that'd been amazing.
Yeah, I was thinking of my Shaman game, and I do have a volcano, but never mind.
You didn't draw it though, right?
I didn't draw.
Yeah, I know.
That would have wrecked me.
Yeah. So, anyways, Jackie, if you guys didn't watch, I ended up winning 2-0, and actually, what ended up happening with the rest of the matches? Because I was on the road, so I was watching it from my phone. So after y'all's match, I kind of shut it off. So did Team Void end up winning the week too?
Yeah, Dog beat Reynad, and then Crip beat Tide, so it was 2-1 to Void.
2-1. All right, so still pretty close there, not too bad. But I guess you still lose that whatever advantage, or you guys still get that advantage or whatever
penalty or whatever.
Penalty, or some type of way of nerfing the other team. It'd be interesting to see what that's going to eventually be.
Find out at TwitchCon.
That's right. Find out at TwitchCon, which is coming up very, very soon. It's in I don't know about 2 weeks. Yeah, I think exactly 2 weeks. Yeah, it's around 2 weeks that you're gonna get a chance to see the finale of Oktoberbrawl. So that'll be fun to watch.
The epic conclusion.
The epic conclusion. Yeah, we'll finally get to see what all these advantages are. That's the part I'm looking forward to the most. See if you guys are having to play blindfolded or
Yeah.
Or maybe it's gonna be, like,
Maybe some of them will be
cardboard on
serious,
the
some of them will be
monitor.
funny.
Yeah, exactly.
Just blindfolded, accidentally clicking concede.
I know.
That would be a challenge. Can you concede blindfolded? That would be
Yeah.
a really, really tough challenge. All right. Well, what other? I think maybe another thing to talk about during our week in Hearthstone is just what other decks we've been playing, and I think we've each got a deck here. I guess mine's first. So I always start with mine, which is I've been playing Elemental Shaman a lot lately, and it's been good.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been having pretty good time with it. I mean, I wouldn't say like the winning percentage is outrageously good, but it's definitely I've been definitely climbing with it, and seems to be a good time for it too. Just because Shaman, all the elemental cards, and Shaman in particular, they have all these cards that are tempo based, right? They remove stuff, and then you play a solid body like the fire elemental, and mentioned Blaze Caller before, and even Hammer of Twilight, things like that. Those all just work really, really well for Shaman and just that type of game. So this has been fun. I've been doing pretty well against obviously the popular Warlocks, as well as it does decently against Priests too. If you get off to an okay start and they don't continue, just keep getting that removal at the right time, then you're going to do pretty well.
Yeah, no, I like the look of it. That's good.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because I mean, one thing that with the elementals is that a lot of them are battle cry minions, so they are pretty understated. So in fact, you've got the Death Knight. Has that been working pretty well?
So the Death Knight is something I ended up adding a little bit later, and it worked great just because a lot of these minions, they survive. You usually trade, survive, and you heal basically with the hero power. And then obviously the turn where you upgrade, I mean, you're going to have like 4 mana cards and 5 mana cards on the board almost every time, like maybe even 3, 4, and 5 around there on average whenever you thrall. And then, when you thrall, you get a huge upgrade, I think, from those spots. Like there's only like a few cards that you get that are just god awful from those spots. So for the most part, you get advantages there, and and then you can parlay it into like, just finishing it. I found Calamos 6 damage to the face is so good. I use that like almost every single time. Yeah, against a lot of the decks right now.
How does it do against Rogue? Just like the popular Rogue decks, obviously, because ladder's saturated with it.
The Rogue deck does well. Yeah, it does well because. I mean, it's a closer matchup just because it has a lot to do with who takes the board and who's able to hit. But with Calamos and the potential for getting multiple Calamos, you have a lot of heal potential too. So those tempo rogues usually just have enough, just barely enough to kill you. Especially when you're talking about, decks that have more value than that rogue deck. So it's like they're on a little bit of a timer, I would say. Sometimes, if they can burst you down, that sort of thing. So if you can extend that, then, I've had a lot of taunts, with Jade Chieftain, and, I've got the Stone Shaper in there too. So there's ways to like prevent that burst towards the end if you can just kind of get through that
cool.
mid game, I guess you could say. So this one's been doing pretty well. Yeah, I would definitely recommend it for folks. It's kind of an oldie, kind of coming back.
An oldie
meaning like 3 months, like not super old, but it's definitely a good time for it right now.
Nice. I can't believe you don't have Maelstrom Portal.
So I wanted to try it without any removal, and it's been great. Like, I mean, I have such great beginnings with this deck. Maybe I've just been getting lucky, but I rarely have terrible with starts. So I don't really need to, like come back from that. And again, like you have things like Fire Plume and Fire Elemental and Blaze Caller. You have things that just remove stuff and, get tempo. So you're even Jade Claw too, right? So you can fall a little bit behind in the beginning and just catch up. So I purposely was trying to do it without Maelstrom. So
interesting.
I could probably replace Kobold, to be honest, Scalebane with Maelstrom, because I've been kind of forcing that card because I've been wanting to play it and see what it's like in Shaman.
Because it's great.
I have to say it's not as good in this deck in particular.
Maybe not.
Yeah. So, but it's something I'm still playing around with. Okay, Jackie, you have a Druid you wanted to talk about today. Why don't we pull that one up?
Yeah.
What kind of Druid is this? Yet another Druid.
Crazy
it is
one.
a Quest Ancient One Druid.
Okay. Yes. Nice.
So, I was climbing ladder. This was actually yesterday I was playing this. I was climbing ladder, and I got to rank 10. And then, obviously, rank 10 is like the rank floor. So I thought, oh, I'm on the rank floor. Let's meme around a little bit. So I thought I tried some Ancient One decks.
Yes.
And when I got ranked Druid, it was just started winning. It was just doing really well. I was like,
wow.
What's going on? Quest Druid is insane. I was getting like 30 minions, like most games. I was like, what's going on?
Oh my god, okay.
Dude, I told you Ancient One is actually not bad at all. If you can, if you can get it down. Because there's so many like faceless manipulators and ways to just, have it happen really early. You have Barnes in here? You don't have Barnes in here.
Nah, no Barnes. Okay. I don't know. Like there's some really good targets, but I don't like inconsistency. There's a lot of not good targets.
Yeah, there's a lot of non-good targets, I agree. So what do you want in the beginning here? Like obviously wild growth and I guess just the early Mire Keeper. You just kind of just
I mean because it's so heavy, Bright-Eyed Scout is sometimes just wins you games on its own.
Oh my god, I'm totally gonna try this later. This looks so fun.
If you get like an Anaconda out early as well, you can the Anaconda can pull out the Ancient One and then you can faceless the Ancient One. It's just so many good things you can do with it. It's great.
I played a deck very, very close to this prior to the expansion. So no Ultimate Infestation. If it had an Ultimate Infestation, it'd be just stupid, disgusting. So I bet this is crazy, crazy good. It's fun at the very least, and it's yet another big, biggish type of deck that has some potential. It's really, really cool. What did you think about Dark Arakoa? Do you feel like you need that for the quest, or do you just like that taunt?
I think I just like it because it's partly the mana cost. I kind of prefer it over Ancient of War because if you pull it from your hand from Anaconda, you actually get the taunt.
Yeah.
It's mainly the mana cost.
Okay.
Yeah. It's all right.
What do you think about Elder Longneck? Where are some good things from that?
Elder Longneck, it's... I feel like it's not that great a card, but if you get health, so it's like a 3-mana 5/4, that's really good. But other than that, it's you kind of just need something to do in the early game, and I didn't really want to play Jade Blossom that much. And it also helps you complete the quest really quickly. So
yeah,
I think you kind of just maybe you don't have to play it, but I don't think I would take it out. I think it's solid.
All right, so the real question is how many 30-30s have you gotten?
I've got a lot.
Yes,
I got a lot.
Right?
And how many of those sealed the deal? Did you kill people with those 30-30s?
Yeah. Wow. Well, a lot of people conceded.
Of course.
And that was so triggering, man. You get your 30-30 minion and people just concede. I'm like, what? So let me hit you in the face.
Don't you know I'm trying to finish the challenge of getting 2 of them, man?
Yeah. But I think I'm pretty sure I must have got it over 50% of games. I must have got the Ancient One. It was way more than that.
If you played Barnes, you'd get it even more. I'm just telling you right now. Just up to you. No, it sounds like a lot of fun. Can't wait to give this one. This is right up my alley, so I'm definitely going to be trying that. Okay, well, Allie, go ahead. You gonna say?
I'm just I kind of think if I have the quest, the Druid quest, I'm not even sure if I have it. I'm not sure if I want to craft it to play it, but I don't know.
I think I've played one. Yeah, I've definitely played the quest before, so I know I have it. Okay, so Allie, you have a Keleseth Zoo you wanted to talk about here.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at this.
There's been a lot of different renditions of Keleseth Zoo right now. There's a demon-based one, but I've been enjoying this one. I think it's relatively strong, actually. And yeah, I've been really enjoying the Keleseth decks, and
they're really
I think it's
very very good.
Strong.
Yeah, I think I've played against this deck maybe a couple times.
It's pretty popular. I think it's gaining popularity, but like I said, there's a lot of different renditions of it, but I seem to like this build.
How is it if you don't draw the Keleseth early? Because when you draw the Keleseth early, it's super strong.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's a matter of just winning or losing. I wouldn't say the entire game is dependent upon drawing Keleseth in the first 5 turns, but it's a heck of a lot easier to win if you do.
Yeah.
So I still think it's fine if you don't draw it, but if it's the last card in your deck, you're probably not gonna win.
That-
It depends on their start too, you know.
Yeah. Tell you what, a
I've
charge
actually-
6/8 feels bad at 5 mana. It feels real bad
Yeah.
when you're playing against it. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
wow.
Feels terrible.
exactly.
But I've actually been really surprised how good the Death Knight is in Zoo. Like traditionally, Zoo is like very aggressive, and you're like ending the game pretty early on. But I've been against, like, I haven't played this deck that much, but I've been against it a lot, and I've lost a lot of games just to the Death Knight. Like
It's if and
really
you're
good.
bringing back a Doomguard or two, like bringing back 2 is insane. I mean, you usually don't, but
Yeah.
it's pretty good. It's like Zoo, the strength of Zoo, and then a finisher, you know, and that's why
Yeah.
I've been enjoying it. So
Yeah. And then, you know, when you're talking about the Death Knight, and, you know, we're going to be talking about another deck here soon, which is, you know, kind of a Krul rendition of this. I mean, you got 2 ways of bringing back all your demons. That's like really, really brutal. You know what I mean? So,
Huh.
yeah, Warlock's just in a pretty interesting state now. I mean, we've been wanting like a demon lock for a long time, and now we're
Yeah.
getting plenty of it. So
Yeah.
good stuff
it's in
here.
a fun spot. I don't think it's like too amazing yet, but
No.
it's on the come up. It's on the come up. That's
No, I
I'm
think
looking
I
at
think
it.
the power level is perfect. Like I think
yeah,
you
it's
know,
at a good spot. I think so too.
yeah. Keleseth, I think some people are having different opinions on Keleseth at this point, just because it's so swingy. You know, like if you get it early, it's, you know, like the deck itself is super powerful. If you get it late, then it's you know it's almost like you don't have it in there, right? So the fact
Yeah.
that there's only one, there's obviously variance because of that, and a lot of people don't like variance, right? Especially like in
Yeah.
events and things like that. So yeah, some mixed opinions. I think the general playing community probably I think likes Keleseth quite a bit at this point. So
Yeah, I think Keleseth's fine. I think a lot of people have been like complaining about it a little bit because it's kind of everywhere, but
Yeah.
I think it's that bad in Rogue because like Rogue doesn't have access to. I think it's actually stronger in Warlock than it is in Rogue because Warlock has obviously life tap, and so you can keep drawing all your buffed minions. Whereas in
For
Rogue,
sure.
you can run out of minions fairly quickly, especially if you're against a control deck.
yeah, they have a
Yeah.
lot of they have more 1-drops or 1 plays than Rogue does too, I believe. Just Warlock in general. So with Keleseth, you know, just last point on it. Do you guys think that Keleseth is design or balanced from a design standpoint? Because, you know, when we first heard about the princes, especially Keleseth, because Keleseth is the most powerful one, or potentially the most powerful one. You know, like, the whole penalty is really forcing a deck building type of, you know, restriction.
Worst
right?
curve.
Yeah, I mean, it's a restriction. Like, you have to build a deck that has no 2-drops in it. And I think initially it's just like, oh yeah, that's really, really hard to do. So Keleseth is, you know, definitely not that powerful, right? And as people started to realize that, you know, you could pick specific types of archetypes that wouldn't utilize 2s in different classes, now we're actually seeing powerful decks with Keleseth in it. So my question to you is, not allowing 2-drops, is that enough? Or, you know, like, or I mean, do you think Keleseth's too powerful, or do you think that's fine? Like, it's actually powered really, really nicely right now.
Personally, I don't think it's too powerful. I think right now Warlock and Rogue specifically don't have that many powerful 2-drops. So like you're really not missing out much by running it. But like classes that have really contested, like Hunter, for example, there's just no way that you can call.
There's no way.
Yeah.
call
Right.
the 2-drops.
Yeah.
So I think there is like you're paying a big price in certain classes, but I think as new expansions come out, probably we'll see maybe some stronger 2-drops in decks like Warlock and Rogue, and then you'll have to kind of think a bit more about whether you actually do want to play the Prince or not.
That's a good point. Yeah, that'd be actually really cool if they did come out with strong 2-drops, just to really make it more of a decision-making type of thing.
Yeah, I agree with Jackie. I do. I think that there are certain classes, like you said, Hunter, where it wouldn't work. So it's a card that's, I think, kind of nice, a nice option for, you know, a class like Rogue, and it's definitely powerful. And I can understand why some people are complaining because it's like high rolly, like, oh, you get your Keleseth, you win kind of thing. But I don't necessarily agree with that completely. So I wouldn't say it's overpowered. But maybe give it a little bit more time, because I think they're just starting to gain popularity, keleseth decks, in the last couple of weeks. So let's just see kind of what happens as people continue to evolve with the deck building. Because I've seen a difference even in the last week of keleseth decks are much stronger than they were like 2 weeks ago, or people just are better at refining it. So let's see what happens. But generally, I think it's a fine power level. Personally.
Well, the thing about the keleseth decks too is that you have to remember is that there's high variance in it, so you can't really even assess how good it's doing unless you like look at thousands of games. That's really
like I don't.
And then secondly, I think that just the Warlock package has just been good. Like even without keleseth, I think people are just realizing it now. That once you took down Pirate Warrior, and once you nerfed out just even Druid a little bit, that Zoo or just Demon Lock and things weren't that bad. Even a Kazakus version of it or the Krul version of it, and even this without keleseth, power level is still pretty good. Not like tier 1 good, but still pretty good. So I think people probably overvalue keleseth in some ways at times, in terms of how much impact it's having on these decks, where the baseline I think was just already pretty decent.
Yeah, I think there's some matchups it impacts a lot more as well. So like if there's two Zulocks against each other and one of them draws keleseth, keleseth has a big advantage.
The mirrors are really sticky.
Sure. Whereas if you've got like the Zoo against say a control deck, them having the keleseth doesn't make anywhere near as big a difference.
Really. I know what you mean. Okay, well, anyways, fun decks, guys. Definitely check it out. All the deck codes are in our notes, so you'll always be able to find that over. I usually put the notes at the bottom of just all the descriptions, wherever you find the show, whether it's YouTube or iTunes or whatever. You can find it there. Moving on, we're talking about some news, and there's some developer news as well as some BlizzCon announcements. So yesterday, the schedule for BlizzCon was announced. And so we get a chance to see not a lot of details, to be honest, but we get a chance to at least see really what's planned for BlizzCon. So looks like there's going to be just your standard type of announcement of some type of expansion of some sort. I think we'll see it probably in the keynote. There's obviously there's some Q&A, like always, like live Q&A. But then there's going to be an Innkeeper event, which if you look at the stage or the schedule, actually, let me see if I can bring up the schedule. If you look at the schedule on the Hearthstone stage, you'll see that, almost everything is the Innkeeper event. So clearly it's going to be some type of event of some sort, some tournament. Let's see. Yeah, if you look here, it's basically, where is it? There it is at the bottom. Yeah, so it's like this Innkeeper round 1, match 1, that sort of thing. So that's pretty much what's going to be going on for the most part on the Hearthstone stage. But then also you have Tavern Trivia too, which is going to be on this new Epic stage too. So a lot of people wondering what was going to be at BlizzCon, given that the World Championships or the Hearthstone HCT Championships weren't going to be there for the first time. So this is answering some of the questions. There's still going to be some fun Hearthstone events. So if you guys are, looking forward to, or you guys are basically at BlizzCon just for Hearthstone, definitely be on the lookout for those sort of things. And yeah, we'll be there too. So we'll do a Value Town like meetup of some sort. If you guys have any ideas, by the way, for a Value Town meetup, let us know, because we've been trying to come up with like a good venue and maybe what you guys would, or what type of environment you guys would want to hang out with us in. So just email those to us if you can. valuetown@chanmanv.tv. So anyways, BlizzCon, you guys excited about it? And I mean, it's like a month away.
First ever BlizzCon.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been. I can't wait. I've just heard that it's like on such a grand scale, and I just can't wait to see the presentation of everything, and I'm super excited.
Yeah, I mean, it's also my first ever BlizzCon and first ever time in America.
Yeah, double win.
America? Wow.
Yeah, America.
Okay, I definitely gotta take you to some.
You're doing it right
dinner.
Then for your first time.
Exactly. American dinner.
I'm hyped.
Total hype. All right, so
what do I need to do while I'm in America?
What do you need to do?
Yeah, what do I need to do?
What do you think, Allie? Burger, In-N-Out Burger, something like that.
Yeah, get
Okay.
In-N-Out, eat.
Eat, yeah, definitely eats.
Okay.
Definitely eats for sure.
I don't know. There's a lot of like good restaurants, and I don't know. There's fun breweries in Southern California, or what else? Disney World or Disneyland,
Yeah,
maybe.
Disneyland's right there too. Like, a lot of people go to Disneyland if they've never been.
Yeah.
Because it's literally across the street, Jackie, from
Oh,
the
really?
convention
Oh,
center.
okay.
Yeah, like all the hotels
Yeah.
that house for just BlizzCon, they're shared with the people that are going to Disneyland. So
Oh, cool.
that's why it's
Yeah.
always so hard to get hotels. But yeah, so come and look for us, these guys first BlizzCon. It's going to be amazingly fun. Let's see, another thing too about BlizzCon is that Ben, I think, was asked on Twitter whether we'd see any ladder changes, and at least maybe announced at BlizzCon. And Ben said no, so there's not going to be any ladder changes. At least we know that it won't be announced at
Okay.
BlizzCon. Darn, yeah, type of thing. But I'm sure we'll see the details of the new expansion, just like always, and that's going to be fun. We'll be doing a live Value Town from BlizzCon too, so I'll give you guys some details on that. If you guys actually want to just come out and just watch us do it, because it's actually in one of the guild, or actually, one of the rooms that you can rent, like the bigger like conference rooms that you can rent in the Hilton. One of the big WoW guilds usually rents it and sets up a whole production, so we usually piggyback off that because they are awesome and let us do that. So
Sweet.
yeah, lots of fun stuff coming up. I'll definitely fill you in on that soon. Another bit of news is that Mike Donais did a interview with PC Gamer recently and talked about a lot of little tidbits here, so I figured we would talk about it a little bit. So you guys get a chance to see this interview at all?
I breezed through the little bullet points
Yeah,
here.
I basically
maybe.
just looked through the notes.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah, Tim Clark.
highlights,
Yeah,
so to speak.
Tim Clark, who's obviously, if you ever read any of the PC Gamers, did an interview. Always does great interviews. And some of the notes is that I think one of the first things is just that there are only 4 members still on the final design team, which surprises me, and I think it surprises a lot of other folks. I mean, are you guys surprised?
Yeah, surprises me as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, it seems like they're happy like that.
Yeah, it seems like they like it that way, right? They'd probably change it by now if they wanted it to be different.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's definitely a case where you can have too many cooks in the kitchen, type of thing, and it's hard to decide.
Definitely.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. I still feel like 4 is awfully
Not that many.
low. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine if it was one person? Like, I think that'd be pretty cool if it was one person, just one.
Whoa.
One
Crazy.
mastermind of Hearthstone.
One mastermind.
Yeah.
Like the Steve Jobs of Hearthstone. It was just
The innkeeper himself.
the innkeeper himself. Oh man, I think that seems like a lot for one person, and for the frequency at which they need to be like doling out, the expansions.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, to think that they're announcing a
Too
new
much.
expansion in like a month, like, it doesn't even seem long since the last one came out.
Yeah, well, they queue them up, right? Like they've got them all like planned out. I would think for expansion, like a few expansions ahead. I would think so.
Yeah. So obviously that's the process. It's kind of cool, I guess, that he's he's more transparent about it. Let us know about that. It's really nice of him to do that in an interview. So we'll see how it keeps going. It'd be nice. I think it'd be cool if they had maybe a little bit more, or maybe they had a couple of these kind of 4-man design teams, that maybe were responsible for different types of things. But who knows what restrictions they have in terms of budget and things like that. Let's see. Next bit of news I have here is that it's interesting because he thinks that one of the Death Knights is the best value card in the game. So I wanted to see if you guys, what you guys would guess would be this value Death Knight, because there are a lot of them that are great value. I mean, there's like half of them are great value, right? So which one do you think he's talking about?
Strictly speaking of value, I mean, I think my guess would be Hunter, right? Like,
Hunter's definitely up there for me too, but I don't think that's my guess.
I think my guess would actually probably be Rogue.
maybe, yeah, okay, I could also see Rogue.
Okay.
Maybe
What's yours,
Jaina.
Chris?
Jaina's my guess.
Oh, we all got different guesses.
Yeah, Jaina's my guess because I think Jaina's. I mean, there's obviously some gameplay, that's tricky about Jaina, but I feel like what you get from her is extremely good.
It's health and board. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's health, board, and removal kind of thing, right? So that's my guess. I mean, you could argue both of those too. Like Hunter, you just get nonstop awesome cards. So that's amazing value too. But is it better than all the other cards in the game though? Is it better value than anything else in the game? That's where it's tricky.
Well, with Hunter, if there's nothing to ping, at the end of the game, Hunter, you can totally build a strong, powerful board back up.
Well, Hunter does 2 damage to like when you play the Death Knight too, right?
That's true. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Hunter's up there, man. Rogue, what happens when you play Rogue? It goes stealth, right? So I don't think it's that one. I don't think the stealth is that important.
But copying the card every turn is pretty. I think pretty. I actually think that Villiers is pretty undervalued. I don't know why more decks aren't using her.
But you can run out of cards though. Once you're out of cards, that hero power is completely
you can play 2 Elises and then you can play 2 packs.
Bam!
Okay, I guess that's true. Or I could just push hero power and make combinations of Flappy Bird and some charging minion, which is okay. Had somebody.
It'd be interesting to find out which one he thinks.
Yeah, I'm actually.
Yeah, so he didn't say.
No,
it might be Mage. I mean, it might be Mage because Mage is just one of the best late game cards. It really does depend on if you can get that ping off. If you're pinging something off every turn, then it probably is. But you're generally not pinging something off every turn.
You aren't, but you're affecting your opponent's play too. That's why I love Jaina. I think Jaina is the best designed DK, by a lot, in my opinion. So so that's really, really cool. He did say also, ignoring DKs, he thinks Tyrion is the best value in the game. So do you agree with that? And everybody that's watching and listening, let us know what your thoughts are too. You can let us know on discord.gg. /ChanManV, or you can email us. But I'm curious as to what everybody thinks. Obviously, people in chat are typing in their opinions. But do you think Tyrion is the best value?
Yeah.
I mean, Tyrion can't be more value than N'Zoth, right?
That's what I kind of think the same thing.
But in terms of a single card, N'Zoth is conditional about with the cards you play beforehand. You might not draw your Death Rattle cards and have no option. Just in terms of a single specific card, I'm gonna agree with them and say
But wouldn't something with infinite value, if never killed, be better than Tyrion? Wouldn't Ysera be better? Wouldn't Lich King be better? Wouldn't anything that's just infinite, right?
Yeah, but Ysera costs 9 mana. I feel all things considered.
Lich King.
Shade of Naxxramas?
Yeah, right. Gruul. No, I'm just kidding. I know what you mean, though, Allie. If you're talking about a practical value, best value type of thing, Tyrion's definitely up there. He's still one of my favorite cards in the game, just because of the value. That's usually the main reason. But I'm just wondering if you're in a vacuum, really, really measuring it, whether he is,
What about Ball of Spiders? You play one card, and you play one card. You get 3 spiders, and then 3 King Crushes as well, all in one card.
Yes, but you have the.
We're reaching there.
Nah, I'm gonna say I think Tyrion is the best value. I'm trying to think of another one, but I just think that the 15 damage weapon with the Divine Shield taunt minion that can't be BGH,
Jaraxxus. What about Jaraxxus?
Jaraxxus is pretty awesome, yeah.
Jaraxxus is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna disagree with you there.
Yeah, Jaraxxus is right up there too. Still one of the best cards in the game.
Someone mentioned this to me the other day. Do you think Jaraxxus will get changed to a hero card?
Oh, that would make sense. I mean, if they've already created the archetype now, right? So they might as well.
Yeah.
That way it can't be used as a demon, right? And I mean, it's always been interesting to be able to do that, but it wouldn't affect me very much. I wouldn't have much of an opinion if they ended up removing that scenario from the game.
I think they said that they wouldn't,
Okay.
the decision was no, that they weren't going to swap him out. Because wouldn't they have to add like a battle cry? I guess it would be just equipping the weapon.
Yeah, it'd be equipping the weapon.
The weapon.
It wouldn't be.
Yeah,
hard
I'm pretty
to
sure
do
that they.
it.
Pretty sure that they said no though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Either way,
I-
it's all good.
I think Draxus is more value than Tyrion, though.
Yeah, I would agree with
think?
that. I mean, as the 6/6s are by itself just
Yeah.
ridiculous. I mean, he is the OG Death Knight. I mean, it's
Yeah.
totally right. Like that hero power is stronger than any of the Death Knights.
I might be okay with saying Draxus is more value. I was
Might be okay.
Yeah.
I
That's
was
a good
pretty
answer.
adamant about Tyrion, but I'm consider changing my mind there. Just leave it at that.
Okay, well, anyways, moving on. There's been some talk about Barnes. A lot of people just the hate for Barnes seems to be rising, and yeah, Mike addressed it by saying that they do agree that there's too much variance with Barnes and it's affecting funness in games, but they're gonna wait for the reset, so they're not gonna do anything to Barnes in the next few months. So
They
those
aren't.
of you, yeah, just like they're gonna have to bear it for another 6 months or so.
I mean, I don't really like the kind of the reason of it'll rotate out soon, because it's still going to be a thing in Wild. Like
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah.
Mhm.
If you're kind of making an excuse for a card, this card's too strong. But it'll rotate out soon, so it's okay. Like I don't like that.
Yeah.
thought
Yeah,
process.
how do you prevent Wild from just becoming like a pot of the past and
Pot of
like
nightmares.
a pot of nightmares?
Yeah, a pot of nightmares equals golden. no, you can't. I mean, to answer your question, Allie, you can't. Like,
Yeah.
they never. I don't think they've ever intended to balance Wild, and it would be too tough of a beast to balance. They can barely
hard.
balance Standard.
Yeah.
Like, imagine balancing Wild. Insane. Like, totally insane. Okay, so another thing too is that they're looking at Raza and Anduin. So there's concern there whether it's too strong or not, but didn't say that they're going to do anything about it though. So they're just taking a look at that. Anything else that you guys might have caught within that? Just at least within that interview, but there's something else that we're going to talk about on Apothecary.
One thing they said was at the bottom, Innovate made Ultimate Infestation a more reasonable card.
I'm not sure. Yeah,
I-
I didn't quite understand what that meant because
I mean, I
I
think
don't
they
know
meant the
either,
nerf
actually.
to Innovate, right? I think they meant like the nerf to Innovate. made it
the Nerf to
more
Innovate. Yeah.
reasonable. And it obviously changes it a bit, but it doesn't change the fact that the card is completely busted.
Yeah, and he mentioned how they compared it to Lay on Hands, and how that compared, right? 8 mana for three cards and heal, and it's like, oh, people still don't play this card, so they kind of made Ultimate Infestation based on that. So that basically for 2 mana, guys, you get even more cards, a 5/5 and a 5 damage spell. So they went a little overboard. It's still super powerful and are still arguable. You can still argue it even with Innervate nerfed or not, whether it's too good. So I don't think it changes. Like, it still doesn't change the discussion. It just makes it a little bit less, egregious. Okay, well, outside of that interview, there was one other thing that people have been talking about, which is the unlicensed apothecary. And, I mean, I've seen so many videos of people dying from it, whether it's Ties or Kibble or whatever. There's some clip of it on Reddit literally every other day. And what we're talking about for those that don't know about it is that a very common interaction, or an interaction that we've been seeing a lot that people just completely get fooled by, is that whenever you play Thrall, the Death Knight, the Shaman Death Knight, if Thrall ends up creating an apothecary, an unlicensed apothecary, which does damage every time you summon a minion, 5 damage to your face, it actually counts all the other minions that they summoned, and so you get damaged like right off the bat. And then if you
The
evolve
evolve counts as a summon.
the evolve counts as a summon. And the apothecary counts as being summoned before those summons. So you take the damage, like in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
And then of course, if you evolve after that, the apothecary obviously damages you too, because an evolve counts as a summon. So lots of people have been dying from it. I mean, I think the actual Death Knight play, and I mean, Apothecary should be counted as being played at the same time. So it shouldn't be counted as summon like post Apothecary play, in my opinion. So you shouldn't be damaged from that. That's just crazy. Yeah. And the amount of damage, it's not even negligent damage. It's like 20 health. You know, it's like ridiculous.
Game ending.
Exactly. And it's a 3-drop, right? So that happens a lot. It's kind of crazy.
I guess Mike Donais said that the Thrall interaction should be fixed in the next patch, though. So
okay, maybe next week then. That could be good. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's the resolution, or that was his comment about it.
Cool. Next bit of news, we got some more a couple community things. So first off, we got a leak as to like what the expansion is. Man, Blizzard cannot prevent these leaks. You know, it's like every single year there's like some kind of leak, and once again we got a voice actor leaking a little bit, which is a French voice actor on his Twitter, which was showing a video of him doing some voice acting, and it looked like he usually shares some of his voice acting, maybe the Innkeeper stuff in particular, with his followers and things. So this one was like, hey, I got something that's different. It's not an Innkeeper one. So he was sharing it. It turns out it was like the new voice lines, or at least the new voice lines. So he was showing, there was like a screen, like you kind of get inspiration, right, whenever you're a voice actor and you're looking at it. So they showed a little bit of the card art. You can see there's some Reddit posts about it, but it looks like, at least, I don't know if it's this expansion or what, but it looks like whatever he's working on has to do with, kobolds or gnolls and something to do with maybe mines, maybe like a venture code type of thing. So I don't know. What do you think of that? Like, what do you think of like an expansion that'd be something like that?
It's not that much to go off of, honestly.
Right? It's like, I don't care what they are. I don't care what they do.
It's quite funny to watch though, because it's just like some crazy guy shouting. Like I almost wish that we could see all the voice actor of all the current Hearthstone cards. Like,
there is a thread. There's a video recently that showed a lot of them.
Oh,
is that? Yeah, it was yesterday.
Oh no, I didn't.
Yesterday there was a video that showed a lot of them, and I mean, you don't see them like live, like this guy. This guy like really gets into it. I mean, it was really cool to see him get into it. But you get to see the picture of all the people that do. I think it was maybe like 25 of the cards. Some of them actually are Overwatch people too, so it was kind of cool to see.
Oh wow.
Like like Matt Mercer and things like that doing that too. But So anyways, you can look for that. Take a look at some of these theories on leaks and stuff. Right. Generally, I don't like to talk too much about leaks just because I'd rather just be just take it all in whenever it's finally announced. But
don't ruin it for yourself.
Exactly. But this is obviously big news today, so thought we'd bring it up. Another thing that came up was the rat race happened this past weekend, which those of you that might not have been following maybe the competitive side of the community, every month the rat, who's been a guest on the show, a friend of the show, he hosts an event where there's a reward. It's like a contest basically to see who can get to legend first, who is the first legend player of the season. And most of the top pros participate in this just because there's a prize that's involved with it. It used to start out, I'm not sure how it works now, but it used to start out where people would buy into it, right? They would pay like $5. I think, Jackie, you participated in one year, right?
Yeah, I did it once. I had to pay $50 to enter.
Yeah,
and it was, I think it was just the one it was like the first, second, and third all got a prize.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of how it was normally executed. This year, though, the Rat actually organized a LAN event. So he invited some people to the esports arena, and they did, just a whole event there. So pretty cool. Hunter Ace ended up winning it. So I'm not super familiar with Hunter Ace, but obviously he's super good because it's very difficult to do that. It looks like he just played Priest 150 times.
I think it was
times.
Priest, right? Yeah.
150 games he got there. That's
impressive.
That's impressive, dude.
That's really impressive.
Really impressive.
I always see Hunter Ace on ladder a lot, and he's never playing Hunter. Always disappointed.
What's up
why aren't you playing
Hunter?
Yeah.
So it's a little false.
I wonder how many times he gets that.
Yeah.
I know, right? Yeah. So apparently he's a Norwegian player. He's actually only 17 years old too. So really young player. Just shows you how you can be I mean, our Hearthstone is a game of all ages. But anyways, the rat race, that was awesome. Hopefully they continue doing that with the sponsors they have for that. And see, another bit of news that kind of flows into, like, I guess our topic of the week is that involving the rat, well, Splyce announced that they are releasing their roster and just, kind of exiting the Hearthstone space. And Splyce has been around forever. I mean, like, they've been doing Hearthstone for a long time now. Like, I even wrote a few articles for them when they first started. So yeah, it's kind of sad that they're leaving. Their owner did a YouTube video which talks about just the reasoning behind it. And one of the key things that he mentioned was just that there are things that we talked about on the show where you rarely see at competitive events, right? It's not like the same as other esports where you see the same brands or the same players having success at multiple events in a row and things like that. With Hearthstone, we see a different group of players like almost every single time. So from time there are guys like Muzzy and things that and guys like that do well pretty consistently, but it's not like enough to where teams really derive a lot of value from doing that, or enough value to really support these guys, right, with the contracts that they're paying. So that was one thing, and that's like a common thing. We all know that, just given the structure of HCT and things like that. But also, he said that even at the spectator events, like the LAN events, just nobody watches it at the LAN events. And I don't know, what do you guys think of that? Because I know at BlizzCon, a lot of people obviously are sitting. But I do have to say, like last time I was at DreamHack Austin, there weren't that many people that were sitting there, like sitting there watching the actual event compared to say Smash or, something else like that. So I don't know, you agree with that?
I mean, it's not quite as, obviously Hearthstone's not quite as high intensity as a lot of other games.
Yeah.
So often it's not going to be as exciting as watching a really fast-paced game. I mean, yeah, that's the only reason I can think of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, when I was at DreamHack in Austin, I do agree with you. Like the Smash screen was, it fills the room, and yeah. But I think it comes down to, like Jackie said, that it's less intensity. It's a thinking, it's a thought game. You sit down and you're really analyzing like what your own plays and what you would do, and maybe in terms of like a group mentality, people want to like, I don't know, rah-rah, like, I don't know, like...
Go crazy.
Go crazy.
Like, oh my God.
Like, shout, oh my God, did you see that? Yeah, and so I'm not sure.
I mean, we've had our moments in Hearthstone. I mean, like the most notable ones, obviously, the semifinals, the year that Tyson, Skaka, right? I mean, there were lots of oohs and ahs during that, and, lots of people watched that. So we've had our moments, and... I mean, I think the question again stems, and this is a little bit of carryover from a couple weeks ago, is just that, are we doing enough? Are we doing enough to actually make it kind of interesting to watch? And because even folks that like Hearthstone are watching it clearly at these LANs, right? I mean, if nobody's going to go to watch it, then why are we doing it? Like you can still have online tournaments and stuff like that and give away a lot of money. Like, why are we actually having LAN events if that's the case?
I mean, I think LAN events are fun.
I do too. I'm not saying don't do LAN events. Okay, I want to make sure everybody knows that. Like, I want like there to be tons of Hearthstone LAN events. I just think that we clearly need to do something that makes it more fun to watch and more exciting to watch. That's going to capture our attention longer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you do that with Hearthstone?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a solution.
Naked guys running across the stage every once in a while. Things like that.
Right. Do you think that being an individual esport versus a team?
Yeah, he talks about that too.
Yeah.
He
does.
Too.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't get a chance to watch it, but yeah, because I feel like if you just look at sports like football versus tennis, like sometimes there's there's more people engaged in like a team, because there's multiple players that they're like, oh, I want to be that player or something. And so maybe with it being just single player, there's less drive. I'm not sure. I mean, that's not true because obviously there are people like Hearthstone's their favorite game and they love watching it as well. So I'm not really sure, honestly. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's as a live spectator thing, that's definitely much more challenging. Like we talked about just things from an online standpoint before with overlays and maybe making it more accessible and easier to watch and more fun to watch. But as a live spectator, that's definitely even more difficult. I mean, one thing you could do is maybe stage it differently. Maybe have the stage be. It's like tough because you can't have people telling you. You can't have the audience telling you what the opponent has either, right? So it can get tricky that way too. So there can't be a lot of interaction that way. So it is limiting to a certain extent too. But I don't know. I mean, I don't have answers for you guys, and but I feel like we should do something, right? We need to do something to kind of spice things up. Maybe just that type of event isn't going to generate anything, so we need to combine it with another type of event. I don't know, of some sort. Mm-hmm. But not having people watch it is definitely not a good thing. We can't. But that's not acceptable at all. So hopefully we can think of some things at these events like DreamHack, because DreamHack is one of the most competitive events, I think, from a standpoint of the player quality and just the format itself. I think the format itself is good too. So how can we make that interesting to watch? Because if it's not interesting to watch, then it's just a very what you would see with a Magic tournament. It's just the people competing, and then that's it, right? It's just kind of a small thing.
Yeah, I mean, do you think also having kind of personalities, like it says, kind of Reynad versus Crip, there's probably going to be a lot more people watching than if
for sure. Yeah, so no question. We talked about this before. It's just player recognition. I mean, that's a huge part of it. I
think that's a huge part.
Yeah, and Allie, you saw firsthand when Kalenta was up there playing. I mean, it was hype, right?
The reception. The reception is much more. There's more reception when people know the player, or they're actually rooting for someone that they're familiar with. So
maybe that's the root of the problem then. Maybe we answered the question right there. We need to come up with a competitive circuit system that allows for us to actually know these players really, really well, so that there's at least some kind of storyline that we all know, some kind of rivalry. There are no rivalries in Hearthstone. Zero rivalries. I mean, even Reynad is not anybody's rival at this point, which is what the hell is going on? I mean, this is crazy.
And people love that when it comes to esports, right? People love to watch rivalries and fight someone else for their team to win. So people have been saying it for a while, but we need it. The closest thing we have is Amnesiac, but he doesn't really have a rival. He's just kind of the bad boy, I guess you could say, of the community, just because of how frank he is, candid he is with things. But we just need to create that. And if we don't have teams, then it's got to be individuals that become rivals for whatever reason. And you can't do that if you don't know the players. That's a very, very basic thing.
You need to have both though. You need to have a good balance of kind of well-known people and competing, but then also some scope for new talented players to also make their way in. So
and we used to
getting a balance is pretty hard.
Well, the tournaments used to do that, right? There's this whole cyclical thing with just organizing tournaments and how the community reacted to it. Originally, it was all invitationals, and then people got really pissed off because then it's the same people over and over again. And then eventually they got to the point where there were open slots, right, in these invitationals, and that was a little bit of a better balance. Now it's the complete opposite. It's just completely open now. So maybe we do need to get back to some kind of, I don't know, something in between there. But HCT is not made to favor anybody like that. The current format is not like that. So the structure of HCT probably should, take that into account. Whether it's creating this sandbox of just these are pro players, these are the only people that can compete in the circuit and nobody else. Maybe every year you can get into it, with some kind of challenger qualifying mechanism. But other than that, this year, you're going to see these players at every single event, and these are going to be the storylines that you follow, that kind of thing. But right now, it's just very, very difficult to do that. So, all right. Well, anyways, why don't we move on, because we still got some more stuff to do. But before we do, let's give a shout out to all the folks that support this show. which is our patrons. If you want to support the show, go to patreon.com/valuetown. It's the only way to support the show. It's like the show is 100% supported by that. So without all of you guys, without all the patrons right now, we would not be able to do this show. That's why we like to give thanks to all these folks each and every week. Give a shout out to a few folks. And we've actually got the milestone, which is, again, for you guys, the patrons, which we're about to do. But before we do that, I want to give a shout out to our legendary producers, Mike T, Rami S, Marshall O, and some other patrons, Bryce L, Ed H, Bob K, Zach P, Johnson C, Grant A, Louise L, Richard G, Shane F, Chris C, and it's not me, Michael H, and Joe B. Thank you so much, guys. You guys are seriously the best. Some of these guys have been doing it for a long time now, so amazing. Like, seriously, just, it's hard. I mean, I can't really thank you guys enough, to be honest. But why don't we do a Smilestone now? And for those of you wondering what Smilestone is, this is where we take 30 seconds of our day or our show to really show how much we love this game. We have to warm up.
Gotta massage the cheeks, get them ready.
Right. And what we do is we just smile for 30 seconds here and just show your love for Hearthstone. So there we go. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Okay, that was 30 seconds.
That felt longer than normal. Chris, you started to fade there at the end. I was like...
all right, good stuff. Oh, we gotta love it. Gotta love it. Yes, it's cringy chat. I know. But that's what it's all about. It's all for the patrons. And again, thanks so much, guys. You guys rock. And again, we wouldn't be able to do the show without you guys. Another thing, too, just to remind you guys that we are available on all the audio channels, too, like iTunes and Google Play, as well as soundcloud.com/ChanManV. So if you want to leave a rating there or maybe some nice words there, that really helps out. It helps out when people are looking for Hearthstone podcasts. They can find Valuetown. And lots of folks have done it so far, so really appreciate all you guys that have.